our folks will come in, and they will enjoy this with us. All right, so Brian Tracy's Psychology of Selling. It's an amazing book. From the ones I've gone through, the chapter 1, it's really been kind of bringing to remembrance a lot of things that we've talked about, you know, when we went through some books and even made references to, you know, the Atomic Habits and, you know, and Atomic Habits strategies and lessons as well. So it's really, really good. So we're going to dive into it. And I would love for us, whatever lessons we have learned along the way. One of the things that I like about this book, he had it in chunks. Like this chapter 1, you will see, like, you know, they are topical, those thoughts that he wants to pass across. He just put them in paragraphs, and, you know, tagged, he had topics on the paragraph and all of that. So it's really, really, really good. And this chapter 1, I love the foundation of it. Hey, Agnes, I love the foundation of it. You know, the foundation is given the whole book, the whole thing, right? That selling, it starts from within, the inner game of selling. And I think it's just general in life. If you can conquer in your mind, if you can conquer within, the world is, you know, the world will not be a tough thing to conquer for you. You can conquer anything in the world. So the very first battleground where we need to win at when it comes to selling is that inner part. So we're going to be going through, I'll just run through this. I would love, you know, all of us as I go on, let me know as you want to chime in, what you want to say as we go through it. One of the things, I'll just start in general, right? But if you see any parts of it that you want to chime in on, please let me know. All right. I'm going to call on each of us at some point, you know, because I know we've gone through it. I have confirmation 3 of us have gone through it. I'm not sure, Agnes, if you've been able to read the book yet, but we'll see. All right. So in the introduction here, as it's given it to us here, the imagination is literally the workshop wherein have fashioned all plans created by man. So that gives us the basis for this, that you have to be able to conquer anything. And, you know, the title of the book gives it to us. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's in the group chat. The soft copy is in the group chat, and I found the audio as well on YouTube. Very, very helpful. I'll post it as well at the end of this, right? So psychology of selling. So there is a thing that all of this have to have been done. You have to, there's a thinking, there's a pattern of thinking we need to learn when it comes to, you know, being able to learn the skill of learning. So that we have to, in our mind, be able to learn how to sell in the mind first and foremost, right? So that is one thing that this book is showing to us. And as it goes on, it talks about, you know, professional selling. Professional selling, let me move to that. You know, it talks about professional selling, that you have to be able to see yourself being able to do this. There is no way you can get out there if you've not put yourself in the position that, yes, this is something I can do. You know, if not, then at the end of the day, one will end up being, you know, you will end up self-fulfilling what you think in your mind. Let's look at this example here, talking about being able to make use of what you learn, right? Because you can, when we learn something, when we are learning all of these things at training, you know, in the company, we're learning all of these things, learning how to sell, learning how to rank up, learning how to prospect. We're learning all of these things. If we don't make use of it, as the case of treadmills, how many of us have treadmills at home? I do, though ours is faulty now, but before it became faulty, how many times did I use it? I'll tell myself, I don't need it. But, you know, my husband that, you know, got it for himself. How many times was he using it? But at the end of the day, he woke up one day and like, this treadmill has to work. And he walked it until the treadmill could not work again. Until he, you know, rose up to do that. The treadmill was just there for years. And then once he started using it, then it became useful for him. He saw results, right? And that's the same thing. When we get this learning, when we become professional at selling, I mean, when we understand what we need to sell, then we become professional at selling, right? And we become professional at selling by practicing what we learn. By practicing what we learn. And of course, the benefit of that is the fact that you become top 20%, top 10%, top 4%, on and on like that, higher and higher like that. Earners in the field. And we can see that all around us, you know, from when people are celebrated in our companies, we begin to see, oh, wow, nobody comes on and say, oh, I was just in my home doing nothing. I was on vacation, doing nothing, and everything is just happening, right? It will get to that point where your residual income will be coming in and things will be flowing. But right now, we have to walk it. We have to learn all of this and reproduce ourselves in our team members so they can do what we're doing so that they can see the same results. But then down the line, we'll get to a point where they'll be able to reproduce themselves, and then you can go on vacation without doing anything. You can still earn. All right. He says, Napoleon Hill says, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Right? So we have to be able to do this. So chapter 1, does anybody have anything to say to to that introduction before I move on? Anyone? Hello, everybody. Balazi, Josie. Your audio is not connected, and I'm talking to her. Let me see. At Balazi. Yes. Anyone wants to chime in? Is not connected. All righty. Esther, Dr. Beatrice, hello. Nice to see you all. All right. Let me go on. Okay. Dr. Emiliana, do you have something to say? I see you're muted.
No. Thank you.
No problem. No problem at all. All right. So chapter 1, it says the inner game of selling. This one, I want us to practicalize it. Let's practicalize it. Okay. It says visualize the thing you want. See it, feel it, believe in it, then make your mental blueprint and begin to build. Right? As in your company right now, in our companies right now, how successful do you see yourself? How successful do you see yourself in your company? What level of rank do you want to attain? How much sales do you want to make? What is your sales target for December? What is your prospecting target for the month? Yeah, 2023 is coming in. At the end of 2023, what level of income do you want to have built within this business right now? Do you see yourself at that level? Once you begin to make your millions, 7 figures, 8 figures, what kind of lifestyle do you see yourself in? What would your house look like? What would your work habits look like? Right? What would your, generally, what would your day look like? So we need to visualize this and begin to see ourselves in it. I wrote down in my note, in order to well up the feeling of that success, I created a scene. Like, once I attain this level of success, I will hear this person say this to me, right? That my leader will call in and like, yes, this is what this, congratulations, all of this, all of that. I wrote exact word down. And that is what I'll continue to visualize. That is what I'll continue to repeat to myself. I was visualizing how my house will look like, what my day will be, how will I start my day, all of those things. So we need to begin to see that. And then, of course, that's the end goal. When it comes to selling, prospecting, how do you want, when you're prospecting, what do you visualize the end results to be? We're saying that when we engage people, we want people to like us, we want them to trust us, and then they can buy from us, right? So how do you want that experience to look like? Right? When you begin to ask people for sales, what do you expect them to say to you? How easy do you want to see yourself converting those prospects and all of that? We need to start building that. And I love, he balanced it, at the end of this chapter, that when you get no's, how do you quickly bounce back? And that's part of what you visualize, you see yourself as well. That when you get no's, no, you don't get bogged down and say, oh, I can't do this anymore, but you know how to bounce back. All right. So we're going into this, the inner game of selling. We already know it's salespeople that makes things go around. It's salespeople that drives the economy. So the highest skill, the highest paid skill that anybody can learn is being a salesperson. We are movers. We are the movers and the shakers. Without us, nothing goes, nothing works. We as salespeople are the people that are moving this economy, and we have to see ourselves that way, right? He said we can be proud to be sales professional. And if you notice what I just did, I personalized it. I am a salesperson. Now, that means that gone are the days where I will show up or admit to anybody that I'm not good at sales. I'm not looking at my results to say I'm a professional salesperson. I'm declaring what I am working towards. I'm here. We are all here right now, 11 of us. We are learning to be professional salesperson. That is what then we need to continue to admit. We cannot from all of us here, let it be a taboo, right? That you ever say, I'm not good at sales. Even if you're not with the company you are right now, you're still, is a skill that will everly pay you wherever you are. So with all of this that we're learning to be professional at it. We're learning to be better at it. And I love the reference he made even to Atomic Habit, when he talked about the winning edge. I'll get to that in a little bit, or I'll just jump into it. I'll come back to 80-20 rule in selling. You know, when he talked about the winning edge, he said that small differences in ability can lead to enormous differences in results. I'll say that again. Small differences in ability can lead to enormous differences in results. We already know this from the Atomic Habits, right? So the goal now is to get better and better at all of those skills that we need. You mentioned those skills, you know, earlier in the book, all of the skills that we need to be successful salesperson. So when we get better at each of those skills every day, we get better at prospecting, we get better at finding out what the people need, what our prospects need, or what our contacts needs, right? We get better at asking questions. I'm trying to look for that, for where he listed that. I heard to have marked it down. Let me see if I can search for it. Right? We get better at prospecting. We get better at asking questions. Prospecting. We get better at asking questions. Oh, yeah. You're searching the web. You search here. Okay. All right, here. Prospecting. So when we get better at asking the right question, then we are able, right? We are able to get to the need of our prospects. And then it will be easy to have the conversion. The conversion will be easy. So with all of those things, it's all of that. The main thing that we need to do then is get better at each of those skills. I don't know why I did not write it down. I saw it. Do anyone know which page where he listed those 6 habits or 6 skills that is involved in selling? The skills involved in selling. I saw it. I'm like, yes, this is it, right? Once we are able, and of course, like I said, all of these things are repeated from one book to the other, then we are able to get better at things, right? So, right. So with that, when we get better and better at those little things, the result, we get better results. It leads to enormous differences in results. And when we get better with results, of course, when we say results, that means it comes to money as well. It comes to money as well. So I'll go back to the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule in selling, it's a principle we already, I don't know if you're all familiar with it, but it's a common principle that talks about, you know, the Pareto principle. That is, 80 in everything. It's not just in selling. This principle applies to everything. But in selling, it goes thus that 20% of salespeople, 20% of members of a community make 80% of the money, and the bottom 80% only make 20% of the money. So 20% of any of us here is going to be making the 80% of the money that will come out of any business that we do together. So if it is established that this is the rule, Then what we need to then do is look to those 20% and do what they're doing. Work towards getting better to become the top 20% so that we can be part of the people that are making the 80% of the money that is available. And then it said then, as we all know, getting better and better at things. It then said, you pick the top 20%, you apply the rule to that as well, that the 20% of the top 20% makes 80% of the money and all of that. So at the end of the day, that equals 4% of the whole. So then that's why some people feel, in network marketing, it's only the people at the top that are making the money. It applies in life everywhere, even, generally when it comes to, the economy as well. The top 20% are the ones, making the whole economy run, right? And they're the one enjoying the 80% of the money that is in circulation. Now, the top 20% never worry about money. Now, if we find ourselves waking up in the morning and finding ourselves worrying, thinking about money, losing sleep over money problems, then we need to get away. We need to find a way to realign ourselves to begin to walk towards moving towards the 20%, because that is where you begin to experience financial freedom. Then you begin to experience, being, you have your time freedom and all of that. And that is where life, that is where life is. All right. So I've spoken about the winning edge, win by a nose. This is, part of the winning edge, right? Just make sure you're improving little by little, 2% every day. Getting better than yesterday in all of those areas that, the skills that we need to put in our sales. So that is the principle on that. Now, it talked about the characteristics of top salespeople. Characteristics of top salespeople. Here, he mentioned a few. I don't know if anyone wants to chime in at this time. Anybody? What your takeaway has been from this book so far? All right, let me see any comments. You can you can add your thoughts in the comments as well. That will be great. That will be amazing. All right. So the next one says success is mental. As we have said at the beginning, you have to have the mind of a salesperson. You have to have the mind that I can succeed, in selling. Let it not be part of your vocabulary anymore. Oh, with Elena and Cece, oh, amazing. That's great. So let it not be part of your vocabulary anymore that I am not good at selling, or that I am not good at converting, or that I'm not good at prospecting. Let it not be part of your, what you ever state out of your mind, out of your mouth. If you feel that you're lacking, there's a gap in the knowledge that you need to know, there's a gap in the skill that you need to learn. That's why we're here. Congratulations. And that's why you have the book. That's why we have the training in the company. That's why we apply ourselves to learn what the gap that is in the skill. And we have to take the posture of who we want to be, not the posture of the result, our current result or our current reality. So that is this mindset, the successful mindset that we need to carry. And then it talks about use more of your potential. 10%. Whatsoever you've done today is 10% of your potential. So as much as possible, and all of those increments, little increment, 2% every day, 1% every day, 0.5% every day, it compounds over time, right? It compounds over time. I've seen one of the things that I've found, in prospecting, I've seen that the voice note goes a long way. And from that, even days that I couldn't do, I'm not in them. There are days that you're not enthused enough. Excellent. Beatrice says, I got a lot in mental success. Amazing. Impressive. Excellent. I'm glad you're getting that, right? Now, there are days that in my voice, you might catch, or I'm not so enthused enough to do voice notes. There are days like that. Like if I leave a voice note, this person will know this girl is not at her best today. Though they might not know my best any day before, right? Yeah, especially if it's the first time I'm leaving a note, right? But personally, I would know I can't leave a voice note on this day. But then that does not stop me from doing something. I put in text. That I don't feel like putting a voice note does not mean I cannot text. And those days I've seen people respond to me, right? And we've gotten engagement going that way. So know what you need to know and continue working on it. Continue pressing into it and getting better at it. And then it says, follow the leaders. See the people that are seeing results, let them, and that's one thing, the companies get those people to come and speak, right? At recognition events and all of that, they get those people to come and speak to us. So when those people come, they analyze, this is what I did to accomplish what I've done. So those are the things then we need to note down and work towards as well. And if it's somebody that you can reach out to, if it's your leader directly, or you can cross teams and reach out to them, absolutely. Reach out to them, learn something from them, right? So the main thing is, it says no one is better than you and no one is smarter than you, right? Because if you have the mindset that somebody is smarter than you or somebody is better than you, you will lose that drive to want to be like them, because you will feel like, yeah, they're in a class of their own. So they're better, they're smarter. But that mindset should not be part of us. We know that any of these skills can be learned. If somebody can do it, it says, according to British philosopher Bertrand Russell, the very best proof that something can be done is that someone else has already done it. Their achievement should not intimidate us. Their achievement should not discourage us. Anyone's achievement should not make you throw in the towel like, yes, they are better, they are smarter, the business is for them. No, their achievement should give you hope that if they can do it, I can do it. That was what helped me in learning to drive when I first got to the United States. I started learning to drive. I never drove in Nigeria. I started learning to drive when I got here now. And I think I got here like when I was 26, 27, thereabout, right? So getting here, never driven. The first time I drove, right, it was a dare. Like somebody was like, yeah, you cannot move that car, right? And I got in the car, in a truck, in a bus. I put the ignition back in Nigeria, right? I put the ignition in and I drove the car into a well because I couldn't stop it. I don't know how to start it. I just went like, yeah, you can do it. Let's go. I went in there, put the ignition in, and then the bus entered into a well, not enter, but crashed into a well, the wall of the well, wells from the ground up, they have, what you crush the well inside. So if I had allowed that mindset, anytime I pick up a car, it will crash, I'm not going to be able to drive. That would be a trauma because it was so embarrassing that day, right? But when I got here, I'm like, if my sister-in-law can drive, I will drive. And I learned driving one day. That very day, I took the car back home. Not by my own. My brother was like, yeah, okay, get on the road. I'm like, what? What did you say? Yeah, I said, yeah, you can get on the road. Get on the road. And I did it. I learned driving one day, one time. One session with my brother, not professionally. One session with my brother, I learned it and I got on the road. So no one is better than you. No one is smarter than you. The very best proof that something can be done is that someone else has already done it. I look at the people on the road, like if that person can drive, I can drive. And since then I've been, I've been driving. I went back to Nigeria after driving like less than a year here. I drove in Nigeria when I went back. You know how crazy driving in Nigeria could be. My husband was looking, my fiancé then was looking at me like, really? You could drive in this serious, this rough place? Yes, I said, why not? Right? So the proof that anyone has earned or has attained a particular rank is the fact that it can be done. All right? So that is the main thing. Then your master program. Now, this is very, very, very essential. I love this portion of it. Okay? And talking about self-concept. It is powerful. Self-concept. That the most noteworthy breakthrough in psychology and human performance in the 20th century was the discovery of the self-concept. What is this self-concept? It says your self-concept is the bundle of beliefs that you have about yourself. It is the way you see yourself and think about yourself in every area of your life. Your self-concept is the master program of your subconscious computer. It is like an operating system that determines everything you say, think, feel, and do. Now, the dangerous part of this self-concept is if you have been programmed, if you have inner programming that is untrue, that is a lie. Absolutely. I love it, Agnes. It says we all need a mentor to push us in our business, but the willingness by you to learn is the key to success. Absolutely. Because if you go to the person that is successful, if you don't go to them to learn, if you go to them to learn, right, they show you. But if you're not willing to follow what they've shown you, then there's nothing that we can get out of it. And all of the main driver of all of such habits, all of the way we do things is this self-concept. The danger of this then is if your self-concept, what you believe about yourself, if it's been a lie, it is true to you. You will run your life as though it is true. Even if other people proves it's a lie, you will continue to that self-fulfilling prophecy that it's a lie. I mean, it's true to you, right? For example, in selling, you have a self-concept with regard to yourself and prospecting. What is that thing you believe about your, prospecting? If you have a high positive self-concept, then prospecting is no problem for you. You get up in the morning, you're ready to talk to new people. You're ready to reach out to other people. And then you continue to, fill your sales pipeline. But if you have poor self-concept, when it comes to prospecting, you will approach prospecting with fear and anxiety. Why? Because what you have in your mind is people will reject me. People do not like me. People will not like what I'm telling them and all of that. It's expensive. It's too expensive. People can't afford it. And when you go with the mindset of this thing is expensive, people cannot afford it, the way you present it, you will not be confident in your presentation. All right. So he says here, what determines your income? Your self-concept determines your income. He analyzed something here that is so profound, that if you are at a level, like say your six figure, you've maxed yourself at six figure. That yes, that is the level I want to get to. I want to start earning six figures. And when you work, you continue to work and you attain that becomes your comfort zone. And you feel like, yes, I've attained it, and you stay there. But then once you now go beyond that, from six figure, you go beyond into seven figure arena, you'll find yourself, feeling like, that imposter syndrome will come in. Like, no, this is not my zone. This is not me. How come? How did I get here? Right? And that will draw you back into self-sabotage, which will then make you draw back in your performance. He says, he calls it financial thermostat. When you know that, oh, I'm a six-figure earner and that's it. But when you go beyond that, it begins to now dial it down. So right now he's saying, begin to program yourself. Begin to feed into your self-concept that the next level you want to get to, start building your belief system to get into that. Another thing that he says here is break free from the past. Nobody has done that in my family. In the whole organization, nobody has reached that rank, right? So that maybe it's not easy, and so you don't want to go for it, right? Or your family, nobody has ever attained this particular earning potential or being able to earn this much. Break free from that and move forward. And then it says change your mind. I'm going to open it up to the leaders in the chat. I'll be coming to Diana, Agnes, Eileen, and who else? Dr. Irene, Rosemary. I'd love for you guys to chime in. So when after I finish my side, I'll call each of you to chime in. So get ready. Now, while you're setting your goal, when you're making up your mind on the next level, what do you want to achieve in 2023? Starting from this December, what do you want to achieve in December? How do you want to end this year? You want to end this year on a high note. How do you want to do it? In 2023, where do you see yourself? When you're doing that, though, he says, because of that internal thermostat, make sure it's realistic, right? If you find yourself like, okay, at the end of 2023 might be too much or whatever, break it into quarters. At the end of this quarter, this is where I want to see myself when it comes to sales volume, sales, revenue, and prospecting, all of those things. So begin to set up yourself to be able to do that. All right. Then it says, oh yeah, this is what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. Yes, it's here. 7 key result areas. 7 key result areas. It says prospecting, building rapport, identifying the needs of the prospect, presenting, answering objections, closing the sale, getting resales and referrals. So all of these are the skills we need to build individually, right? In the sales, in the sales pipeline. All of these things has to happen. You need to prospect, build rapport, identify their needs, present. Instead of, I love the way it was said yesterday in one of the the presentation that we had, that instead of telling them, oh, this product is good, come and have it, or come and buy it, we find out, we ask questions. Are we able to find their needs? What is it that they need? From the way you're building rapport, you will be able to identify those needs. And then you then find, okay, from all of the products that I have that I'm presenting, this is, the solution. This is what I would, recommend. And if it's on building business, from building rapport with them, what do they want out of life? Is this business going to be an answer, to what they're looking for? So absolutely. I love that I was able to see, to find that. So the next step then is to master the skill and get better at what you do. Most importantly, face your fear. Do not sell yourself short. Fear and self-doubt have always been the greatest enemies of human potentials. Fear comes from experiences, what you've experienced in the past, but you have to, reprogram yourself that you're not your failure, that the fear might come, but you have to be able to overcome that fear and objection. Don't sell yourself short. Instead of saying to yourself, I hate calling strangers, I don't know how to convert. I'm terrible at closing sales. This was what I started with earlier. Don't even catch yourself saying all of these things, okay? And then challenge your self-limiting beliefs. Yes. If you find yourself saying to yourself, because personally, I talk to myself a lot, right? I don't know if I've shared that here, but I talk to myself a lot, and it's gotten me into troubles a few times, okay? But we can still use that to build when you find yourself talking to yourself, because you will never catch me saying anything negative about myself to anybody. But I mutter it to myself sometimes, right? But of course, I'm now very conscious of that. And even if it's coming in my thoughts, you will not hear me say that. You will not hear me say it out. What you will hear me say out is the opposite of it. Sometimes when you see me post in the groups, when you see me post even on social media, I'm posting the opposite of what I'm feeling. Sometimes, not all the time. Most of the time I post what I want people to, things that that I'm learning, that I'm, working on, post it. But sometimes, right, especially when fear comes, when discouragement comes, I find I get myself out there, post the opposite of it. After I've declared it to myself, I go out there and, declare it out there as well. If any thought of I'm not good enough comes in, you will find me go out there and say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Right? So you can come in the group. That's why I love being in groups, be it on Facebook or on WhatsApp. Being able to, in that group, it's not all on social media, right? In that group, use the groups. Use your Facebook groups. You're allowed to come and declare your intention, even in the book club WhatsApp groups. If you find yourself ever having thoughts of something like this, come in that group and post something opposite of that thought. And let us agree with you. Yes, this is powerful. I love it. And from that, you are encouraging yourself. You are letting that thought, you are eroding, you are pulling out that thought. Somebody said to overcome a thought, you don't use thought to overcome a thought. When a thought when a self-sabotaging thought begins to come on and say, I'm not good enough, for example, right? When such thoughts begin to come up, you don't say, I'm just thinking, and fight in your head. No, you say it out loud. I am good enough. You pick up your pen, journal it 10 times. I am good enough. Thank you, Jesus. I am good enough. Thank you, my God. Thank you, Jesus, because I am good enough. I'm telling you what I do, right? And I'm giving you permission now. Come into the group and write it there. Yes. You might not want to say, okay, I am good enough. You can declare telling somebody, you are good enough, period. Right? Get a meme that talks about it. I am good enough. Get a WhatsApp, a TikTok video that talks about it. I am good enough. Get a song and just dance, in your wherever, in your store, in your house, on the street, in your car. Just play the song. I am good enough until it sinks in. Right? On this one, it says self-esteem and sales performance. Your self-esteem affect your sales performance, affect your delivery, because people would know that you're not confident. And when they can perceive you're not confident, they're not going to trust you. Now, I want every one of us to say it to yourself. Everybody's muted, but I want you to say it to yourself. I like myself. I like myself. I like myself. It says, be your own cheerleader. Say it to yourself. If you can type it in the chat, type it. I like myself. I like myself. I like myself. Yes. Love it, Bridget. I am good enough. And I would love that you say, I am, because there's a power in that, in those two words. If you remember, the person that is I am is equal to God. And when you're saying I am, you are activating the God in you. I am. Remember, sorry, I'm going to go preaching here. Remember when Moses asked God, what shall I tell people? What shall I tell people? Who shall I tell people sent me? He said, tell them I am that I am sends you. So when you use the word I am, you're activating the God in you, because you are built, you are created in God's image. So you are a God. You are God here on earth, right? God made you his image here on earth. So you're activating that God within you. And when you say that, you're establishing. Everything around you listens and says, yes, she is a God. Yes, she is what she says. And whatsoever you say after I am is registered in the universe, right? Whatsoever you say I am is registered. That's why I don't even say I am hungry anymore. Right? I'm like, yeah, I need to eat something, right? So you be very cautious what you say after I am. Says when you begin to, overcome all of those limitations and begin to perform, you will see nothing will stop you. You will continue. Yes, Amma, thank you. I like myself. I am good enough. Absolutely. The power of positive affirmation, it is crucial. Every morning, say to yourself, like he mentioned here, that he says it to himself 50 times a day. When you sigh, just tell yourself, I am good enough. I like myself. I like myself. Maybe before you even, do your blitz on a daily basis, before you go on doing your daily method of operation, say to yourself, I like myself. I like myself. Rabosha. Oh my God. Yes, that is the level now, right? I like myself. I love myself. Yes, Okay. Yes, I love it. So, why customers don't buy? Their own fear of failure, our own fear of failure, all of that. Fear of rejection, all of that. So I'm going to shut up now. Do anybody? Yes, I love myself to the moon and back. I love that. Yes. So anyone wants to chime in? Diana, do you have any all righty.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good to be back to our book club. I was really happy seeing this session coming back, especially with this book of Brian Tracy, because he is the author that I know who has a lot of teachings and his learning work. If you really want to work on the concept that he gives, on the coaching that he gives. And like even to the beginning of the book, I shared to even our WhatsApp group or on some parts when I was starting reading. And it was so impressive. Good thing we are coming from say like crazy, and continuation of this, if we follow up on each and everything, it will be a good day to us. Like of the examples that have been shared to this book, they're very strong and they're very motivating. I think somebody who is not capable of selling, like I love that part of preparing a sales script, that thing. Everyone have to work on it. Because if we want to be good on selling, we have to follow the principles. Reading books alone won't work if we don't apply what we are reading. So that's what I've seen. Like we have to affirm, yes, every morning, but we have to act. It's not just affirmation that will make us sell. We have to work on it. We have to work on the procedures and suggestions and everything that have been shared to this book. So it's a wow. I love it. Awesome. Should I go on with the exercise or you're going on?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. So after reading this chapter 1, there are exercises that have been highlighted here. As number 1, decide today to become a total confidence, high self-esteem salesperson. Say over and over to yourself, I like myself. I think a lot of us have said and we have affirmed and we have typed to the chat session that the best thing. And number 2, visualize yourself continual as the very best in your business. The person you see is the person you will be. Don't do things like you're trying, like you're not sure of what you're doing, like you're just following someone. Just be you, be yourself, and accept who you are and accept that you are a salesperson. I've seen that a lot of people fail to sell thinking that selling is hard, selling is difficult, selling is just for some specific kind of people. No, change that one in your mind. Another 3 exercise we have today is resolve in advance that no matter what happens, you will never give up. Failure is not an option. That's the best exercise that everyone have to take it take it as a take home for today. Don't worry, when you fail, don't give up. There will always be an option. There will always be a second chance for you. There will always be a way as long as you persist, as long as you will never give up. And number 4, refuse to take rejections personal. Accept it as a normal and natural part of selling, very much like the weather. As we know, weather is not always as we expect. We may expect rain and there will be sunshine, and we may expect maybe cold season, especially now when there's the environmental pollution. The weather is always acting in its own way. So even us, let's not just expect something that will be okay. If it's not happening, we feel sorry for ourselves and we feel bad. That's not good for our business. And when we are ready to accept rejection, it will be good for us. Like it's okay to be rejected. Let's take it that way. It's okay to be rejected, and good thing, you're not the only one, and you're not the first person to be rejected, and you'll not be the last one to be rejected. So let's take it that way. And number 5, follow the leaders in your field. Pattern yourself after the highest paid and most successful people. Find out what they're doing and then do the same things until you get the same results. We are in the fields that there are other people who are ahead of us. They've been get paid more than us. They have experience more than us. So don't feel shy to ask. Don't feel shy to follow what they're doing, because in the end, yes, we might have knowledge, we might be good than them or than them in anything, but they have something to show. So don't feel shy to copy. Take it as long as it will give you results, or you can take something that your reader is doing and modify it in your own way that you'll be comfortable doing it. It's not necessarily that it's a copy paste. No, you also have things that are different from anyone. You're unique. You have to appreciate that. But you can just start learning from your reader first. And number 6, make a decision today to join the top 20% of people in your business. Remember that no one is smarter than you and no one is better than you. Anything that anyone else has within reason, you can do as well. Today with this chapter 1, we have seen this top 20% from the 80-20 rule. I love this rule. And for us, after realizing what's happening in sales world, we have to make sure that whatever we do, it will be making us to arrive to the 20% of people in our business. So let's promise ourselves to do that. And it starts from us being, from us reminding ourselves that we are also smarter and no one is smarter than you in your own way, in your unique way. And also, there's no one who is better than you. You have things that God has created you with, that if you just apply them, if you find them, you can do it better than anyone else. That's it. And number 7, take action on every new idea that you think can help you in any way. Give it a try. The more things you try, the more likely it is that you will eventually try. Yeah, like I said before, we have to take action. No matter how many books we will read about sales, if we don't act, nothing will change to our business, nothing will change to our life. But with this explanation of this book, like we have seen, sales is the most important thing in even other words. So it's not that because we are doing this business, we have to sell. No, in everything we have to sell. So we have to keep on making better ourselves by acting. You read and you go and act, and then you'll be improving every day. It won't happen overnight, but it's a process. So we have to embrace the process. That's it. If you want to add, please welcome. Thanks. That's it for me today.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. So we'll pick it up from here next week. We'll go into chapter 2, and we'll hear more from Diana next week, and Agnes. We'll be able to expatiate that chapter 2 for us. So do not miss it. And if you've learned anything from if anything comes out to you, don't hesitate to drop it in the chat as well, so we can, we all have ways of picking things differently. So when you highlight it, it might even bring it to our consciousness as well, to learn more about it. So guys, you continue to read the chapter. If you have not read chapter 1, please go ahead and do that. I'm going to put in the chat, the chapter 1 took about 2 hours. I would say even less. Let me see where it is. It was less than an hour. Hopefully the history is still there. It was less than an hour. Oh, sorry. Okay. It was 1 hour, 15 minutes. 1 hour, 15 minutes to finish chapter 1. So if you've not, that was actually high speed. Yeah, 1 hour, 15 minutes. At higher speed, 1.25 would even get you there faster. So read it, listen to it on a daily basis. Just, you have your day, the part of your day that you have dedicated to reading, self-development. That is the portion. Just, kick it in, and the whole thing is about 6 hours, less than 7 hours, right? So let it just play on. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I appreciate you all. Thank you, Diana, for chiming in there for us. Next week, it's going to be your show. And then, and Agnes too, I look forward to hearing from Agnes as well. So everybody have a wonderful evening. God bless you. Enjoy your day and happy selling. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mommy.
Oh, welcome. Thank you, Beatrice.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. You are welcome. Woman.